Hi everybody, my name is Caden.
I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And I'm Jason. And we are
The 𝐤𝐄𝐄 and the Torah YouTube channel.
Yes, thank you, Caden. Thank you very much. And it is a Shabbat. Thank you very much, everybody who's out there. It is a wondrous day on our Creator's calendar. It is the day that we can join together as family, as friends, as people who are seeking our Creator. And it is amazing. Let us begin with a quick word of prayer. Precious Heavenly Father, we come before you as your people. Father, we come before you as those who are seeking your ways. Father, your ways are beautiful. Your ways are magnificent. Everything that you have done, Father, is amazing. Every bit of your creation is things we can't even understand. We can't even come to grasp with the greatness that you are. But Father, you have formed us. You have built us. You have created us. And you have given us life. And you have given us a soul. Father, you gave us a Torah and you gave us your word. And Father, you gave us your Son. And we thank you for not forgetting your creations. We thank you for creating us and giving us hope and for giving us a path and for giving us a kingdom road that we can walk. Father, you are everything to us. And we thank you. Father, I ask that you will bless all those who are listening to this, that you will dwell with them in their lives, that you will bring the Ruach HaKodesh, that you will protect them, and that you will get us to where we need to be, that kingdom road. Father, we thank you for everything, and we thank you again for your Torah, and we thank you again for your Son. We ask this all in the name of Yahushua. Amen. All right, everybody, how are you guys out there? How are you around my table here? How is everybody in our little ecclesia, the little chat room here? And I see from the chat, we got the Grand in here, and we have the Sliger family. We have Damon and Zachariah, and we have Rhiannon and Cindy LJ and Ollie. That means Ollie's here. So Ollie, if you're out there, little buddy, here's a high five. Your brothers all say hi to you. Give you a big hug, little buddy. We love you. We love your family. Who else do we got in the chat room, Miss Nicole?
We have a new one that we've never seen before, which is Gracietta.
Gracietta, much love to you, my friend. Thank you very much for joining. We hope you have a wonderful day. What else we have?
I think, did you get Glenn?
Brother Glenn, and hopefully his wife is here if she's around. But much love to both of you guys. And it looks like you guys were discussing a little bit of cold weather over there. And the Grand, how cold is it for her?
I think she said it was 13.
13 degrees.
But
wow.
She has 8 inches of snow.
8 inches of snow, 13 degrees. That sounds cold. That sounds very, very cold. And for all of you guys, I guess in North America, it's pretty cold for everywhere over there.
And Cindy says her mom, Tess C, is here as well.
Oh, hey, Tess, how are you? Much love to you, dear sis. And yeah, I hope you guys all had a wonderful week. And let us get into this. Let us begin, first and foremost, with something that is, I don't know, very, very cool. Something that we should all pretty much have written on our hearts, minds, and souls. And this is called the Shema. And for those who are new, I guess for those, I always jump right into this because I recognize all of you guys, but I always forget there's always people. We have maybe 10 of us, 15 of us here, but over the course of the week, we end up with maybe 100 views. On the old channel, we ended up with like 200 views. And so there's a lot of people outside of this that never, they just pop on and they will listen to this. So first and foremost, I guess my apologies for our roof. Our roof does what it always does. I will apologize for my dogs. We have 10 pit bulls, and they always do what they do. So sometimes it's a little distracting here, but we try to keep it the very best that we can. Gentlemen, tell us a little bit about who we are, what do we believe, and why do we believe this? Who's going for this? Kate?
We believe that the Torah is good for all generations, that it is for all time. We believe that it is forever, that it was never done away with, and that we should continue on living with it.
Why? Why is this?
Because we are told to follow the commands. We are told to all generations, if you want to be a child of Yahuwah, a child of Yashrael, then you need to follow the commands.
Okay, but there's a lot of people, in fact, the majority of the world, number one, they don't know what these commands are. And when they do hear about the commands, they've been told that they're old school things that they don't have to follow. Eli, why is it not old school? Why are they still current with what we are in today?
Because Yahuwah has told us to keep them for all generations and to never forget them.
But we're talking, these things happened thousands of years ago. I mean, we're talking like 4,000 or 5,000 years ago that this happened. It seems a little old school to me. How is the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator not old school? How is it, in fact, current school? How, in fact, does it apply to everything that we do today?
there's still things that we need to keep. We can't keep the Levitical laws, but there's still pigs. We can't eat those, so that means that we should be keeping that command still.
Yeah, there's a lot of commands that we can do today, and for those who do not know, the laws, statutes, and commands are Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. It's the first 5 books of the Bible. And it's in every Bible, and there's roughly about 174 commandments that we can keep today. And so we are just about to go over those 174 commandments. And as we repeat these, as we talk about them, if you guys in the chat room have anything that you want to toss in there, or if some command doesn't make any sense to you guys, toss that in there. We are definitely here for you guys, especially doing this live stuff. We are here to interact with you. We are here to just call you guys in to get your opinions, to get your viewpoints, to get your guys' chat, to get your guys' everything. We're very concerned with what you guys have to say, because we want everybody to be able to speak and have their word. So if there's a commandment that doesn't make any sense, let us know. But as we get to this Shema, which means hear and obey, this is what we are told in Deuteronomy. The very first thing right here. Hear, O Yashrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu. Yahuwah is one. And you shall love Yahuwah Eloheka with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them upon the posts of your house and on your gates. All right, gentlemen, what are we talking about here when we're supposed to write them on our doorposts? They're supposed to put them on our gates. We're supposed to put these things between our eyes. What exactly is it that we're supposed to do these with? What is so important?
So you put on doors and gates. They have them called mezuzah, which you stick a little Torah, a little wrap of Torah, and a little thing, and you can glue it on your gates or on your doorposts. And between our eyes, I think you're talking about kind of like our brain, probably. It's kind of between our eyes.
But what exactly is this? Well, I mean, I understand
the
that we're
Shema
supposed to...
is the commands.
What commands?
The whole Torah, the first.
The whole Torah. All right, so let us get into a little bit of what we're talking about right here. And I did see somebody popped in. We have Brenda Lee in here.
And also Josh Rhodes just popped in.
Oh, Josh Rhodes, brother Josh, and sister Brenda. Much love to both of you guys out there. Very good to see you, Josh Rhodes. We love you, brother. And thank you so much for hanging out here. Okay, I guess before we do that, let's quickly go over the calendar real quick. And we are on month 9 of our Creator's calendar. That puts us on the 23rd day of our Creator's calendar. And it puts us on the 7th day, which is why we are all here. And it is the 17th day on the Gregorian calendar. All right. Now, the most important things in our entire lives that we should ever have, and the thing we were talking about, the Shema, is about these. When we're supposed to write something on our hearts, write something on our doorposts, this is the something that we are talking about. And if you have never heard the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator, this could be the greatest moment of your entire life right here. A lot of people will go through their entire lives and they will never, ever once hear about how awesome the ways of our Creator are. And if you're looking at what the heart and our mind of our Creator looks like, we don't have to go very far. We don't have to look in extracurricular books. We don't have to have a sign from the Shemaim. We don't have to have anything. We have the laws, statutes, and commands. And as we go through these apply to you. They apply to your life. They apply to everyone's life. In fact, they are a gift that most people will never, ever take. And a lot of people will take Messiah Yahushua. And for those who do not know who he is, that is Jesus the Christ. There were no J's in Hebrew. So the man's name could have never been Jesus. And we don't want pagan names. We're not supposed to say pagan names. So it's like Joshua with a Y, Yahushua. And when we are thinking and when we are trying to put ourselves in the same position, in the same world that Messiah Yahushua was in, he came because we violated the laws we're just about to read. He came because we broke the Torah. And without him coming, we don't have a Levitical priesthood anymore. We don't have a way that we can get rid of these sins. We don't have priesthood. We don't have sacrifices. We don't have any of that. But we don't need that, because that is what the whole point of Messiah Yahushua was. He came to be that sacrifice for us. But he did not come to do away with the laws, statutes, and commands of his Father. He says that his will is the will of his Father. He says his words are his Father's words. He says if you love him, keep his commandments. And there are no other commandments other than what we're just about to read. So as we read these, I ask that you guys will listen, write them on your heart, write them on your soul, and write them so that you are able to use them in the world that you are in, where we need these commandments more than anything. So let us begin, gentlemen. Gentlemen, let's go slow. I know you guys like to look down. Maybe you guys can put your phones up, and don't forget to speak into this little microphone so I don't have to interrupt you guys. Everyone good?
Yep.
All right. Be fruitful.
Multiply. Replenish the earth.
Subdue it. Have dominion over the fish, fowl, and every living creature.
The herb bearing and every tree is for food.
Man and woman should build their own families.
Master sin.
Every clean moving thing that lives shall be food for you.
Do not eat the blood.
Walk before me and be perfect.
Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statute, and commandments.
Times 53.
Every male shall be circumcised at 8 days old.
Teach your children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations.
Keep the Passover, Pesach.
Keep the feast of unleavened bread, matzah.
There is one Torah for the stranger and one for the Ephraim. Hold on. Okay. Let's stop on this one right here. This is a very important commandment, and this is a commandment that we got early in the commandments, right? We learned about this in Exodus 12:49. We also learned about it in Leviticus 24:22, and then continuing on. But what this says right here is what Christians will deny. The Christians will deny that that the Torah. They will deny it by saying it doesn't apply to them. But it is very, very clear by the words of our Creator himself that even if you're an outsider, even if you have never learned the Torah, even if you don't understand what the Torah is, there is still one set of laws and the rules that apply to your life. And it doesn't matter where you go, how you want to be, or how you want to live. If you want to be a child of the Most High, there is one set of laws that we have to keep. And this is them. And so if you think that for some reason that the laws of our Creator don't apply to you, it says right here, there is one Torah for the stranger and the Ephraim. That means that if you feel like you're a stranger, that you're outside of this, that means these laws are for you. So as we read them, please write them on your hearts. Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah.
You shall not make graven image.
Do not bring Yahuwah's name, do not.
Keep the Sabbath. As we are all sitting here hanging out, we are keeping the Sabbath day.
Honor your parents.
Do not kill.
Do not break wedlock.
Do not steal.
Do not make false accusations against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbors.
Do not make an altar from rock that a tool has touched.
Do not go up to the altar by the steps.
If a man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times.
Yahuwah's law is for criminals.
You shall stone the witches, wizards, and mediums.
Do not lie with beasts.
No sacrifices to other gods.
Do not oppress a stranger, fatherless, or widow.
Do not charge your brother interest.
If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return it to him before sunset.
Do not curse the ruler of your people.
Do not eat what is torn of any beast.
No false report.
Do not follow the multitude of evil.
Do not judge unrighteously against the poor.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray.
Help the animals of your enemy.
Stay away from rumors and gossipers.
Take no bribes.
Do not oppress a stranger. Love the stranger.
Give your land rest in the 7th year.
Do not mention any pagan names.
Keep the feasts of Yahuwah.
Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you.
Do not bow down to other Elohim. Now, hold on. Okay. Would bowing down to a Christmas tree, getting on your knees in front of a Christmas tree, would that be bowing down to other Elohim?
Yes.
Why?
Because that is considered a part of a deity.
Yeah, it is considered a part of a deity, and to keep this family friendly, we will just keep it at that. But the Christmas tree is not what you think. And on this channel, and we've been trying to expose this because we still have a few days before the old Christmas. We're trying to get as many people to run far away from that as possible. Just participating in this at all, hanging up a mistletoe, pagan. Giving a gift, pagan. Secret Santa list, pagan. Even having Santa, right? Santa is, if you guys go back to the old days, Santa is Odin, right? They had Odin in a sleigh with some sort of animal with a nose that lit up. And somehow in 1930s, Coca-Cola branded Santa Claus. There was no red man in a suit and this fat guy and all this kind of stuff. Now, let's take this one step further about not bowing down to other Elohim. Let's say, for instance, that we take a plate of cookies and some milk, and we offer up a sacrifice, or we offer up an offering for him that night, right? You guys see where I'm going with this?
Yep.
So we have a member of a deity's piece of him that we get under, and I just say it for those. I mean, it's Nimrod's phallus is what this is, right? And so they dress this up, they adorn it in gold, and they get on that. And then as they wait for Odin or, Satan Claus to come by, they give him a sacrifice, right? And this one came from Rhiannon. I never even put two and two together until Rhiannon the other day made a comment on this about us putting cookies and milk out there. And that just seemed so innocent up until she said that. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, we're offering an offering to this entity that's supposed to come down this thing and give you a bunch of things. And here's even something more. Not only if you do this with your children and with your family, and that you allow yourself to bow down to other Elohim, you are breaking other commandments, because most parents out there lie to their children. They say that there's a man named Santa Claus that's going to make a entrance into your house, and he's going to give you things. And people start worshiping Santa Claus. Kids start worshiping Santa Claus, right? So you've told lies. You have your kid now worshiping other Elohim, and it just goes downhill from there. So let's continue on. 55. Serve Yahuwah.
Make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land.
Do not make or use anointing oil on a normal person. Do not make or use perfume on a normal person.
Do not eat the fat.
Do what you say you're going to do.
Return what is your neighbor's.
Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws.
Women's time of separation.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws.
Keep the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family.
Okay, hold on right here. It says do not uncover the nakedness of your family. Now, let's just look at this logically. If all of the commandments of our Creator are on the cross or are in the ditch, or they don't apply to us anymore, what about this commandment? Is this okay to look at your family without clothes on?
No.
Where is this? And this is the danger that we have when we don't obey the law, statutes, and commands. Number one, if you don't know the law, statutes, and commands, then hopefully you have a moral code that you would not want to look at your children without clothes on. But if you don't have that moral code, then we do have a moral code, which is called the Torah. And it tells us that this is a very bad act and we should not be involved in something of the sort. So if you are those people who these laws, statutes, and commands don't apply to, what about this commandment? Are you okay with looking at your children without clothes? Because that's very vile and it's very evil. And so you have to be very careful about what you're tossing in the trash or what is nailed to the cross, because it seems like these are very, very good advice at the very least. Okay, do not take your woman's sister for a wife. All right, Nicole, what do you got?
Rhiannon said it wasn't her that said it.
Who said that?
I don't know. I don't remember that one. I didn't see that one.
Oh, I thought it was Rhiannon. Well, Rhiannon, you got the credit for it, but I guess it's not you who said that.
She's like, I don't remember saying that. Could you remind me?
Okay, yeah, so if that wasn't Rhiannon, then it was somebody else, and we get a lot of comments, but I thought it was Rhiannon, so props to Rhiannon for not doing it, but thanks for letting me know. But anyway, so hopefully does that make sense to everybody out there? The kind of danger of a simple plate of cookies and milk that we are basically, we're giving our kids to Satan. I mean, literally, we are handing our kids off to Satan when we're doing this kind of stuff. Okay. Where are we at?
69.
69.
You shall not sacrifice your children to Moloch.
Lucky boys. You guys are so lucky we're in the Torah.
Well, we're going to sacrifice if we weren't.
Well, I know, but I mean, I wouldn't know. It'd be nailed to the cross. I wouldn't know. Okay.
Do not be a sodomite.
Be holy.
Do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard. Okay, that's you, Cade.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor.
Do not lie or be a liar.
Pay your workers for the day's wage they are due.
This may seem simple enough, but this is probably something we should have in this. Let's not harm the disabled,
It
right?
really makes you wonder how this command and why this command even shows
Don't
up.
hurt the disabled. If they're old, if they're frail, if they're disabled in any way, or even if they're not disabled. Why do we hurt people, right? We love people. That's what we're supposed to do. So this is a crazy commandment. Don't harm the disabled.
77. Do not endanger your neighbor.
Again, seems very common sense, right? Let's not hurt our neighbor. Okay.
Do not hate your brother.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin.
You guys are glad I got rid of that. You guys made it past that do not hate your brother thing, huh?
Yep.
Oh,
Keep,
yeah.
We made it
Yeah.
past. Eli went smoking through that one. He went right to the next one.
keep going, boys.
Run!
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Do not diverse your cattle.
Do not mingle your seed.
Do not mingle linen and wool.
Do not lie with a taken woman.
Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years.
Do not practice sorcery.
Oh, that's on the cross. We can practice sorcery now. Oh, wait. That's probably one thing we shouldn't do, right? Right? You guys see what I'm saying here on this? There's so many commandments here that if they're nailed to the cross, then okay, we can see our kids naked and let's practice sorcery, everybody. It's so wrong putting these commandments in the trash bin or away from it when they should completely apply to our
And
life.
Christmas, part of putting a gift under a tree to give a gift to a false deity is sorcery.
Well, you're supposed to, the gifts under the trees are supposed to go to your kids.
Right, but like the sense of putting a gift under the idol to
Oh, yeah.
appease the idol.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it'd be like going under the statue of Moloch where you offer your kids and throwing some gifts under there or decorating them up, saying it's like good.
And it's not bad to give your kids gifts. It's bad to give it on
Who
the spirit
says?
of Christmas.
I'm sure you're biased. Why is it? Are you sure?
Like giving a gift to someone is not a problem, right? If you give something good to someone, it's not a problem. But if you are sitting there giving it in a Christmas spirit,
Yes.
in a Christmas
Yes.
manner, then that's a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just messing with you. And that goes for Hanukkah as well, everybody. Just so you know, Hanukkah is of devils and demons. It is not of our Creator. There is no commandment to celebrate 7 days of super Christmas, Hanukkah. There's no such thing, right? Everything there, it's all demonology. It's all part of Satan. It is not part of a festival or a feast that our Creator has given us. So when all these people are out there celebrating Hanukkah and they think they're better than the people celebrating Christmas, they're all heathens. They're all Gentiles doing such a thing. Okay, where are we at, gentlemen?
87.
Yeah.
87, my favorite. Here we go.
Oh no.
Do not round your beard or the corners of your head, right?
Okay.
Men should be men. Let's go.
That's only cross you can be beta males now.
Oh, it's on the cross we can be betas? God dang. I knew something was going on with the world that we're in today. Dang it. Okay.
88. Do
Yep.
not cut yourself for the dead.
Do not get tattoos.
Do not prostitute your daughter.
Do not defile your temple.
Do not consult the medium.
Respect your elders.
Hold on. Sorry, I got conflicted here. Cade's like trying to kick us out with his feet. Okay, sorry. One more time. Where were
No,
we?
it's 94.
94. Okay. Have correct weights and measurements. Now, correct weights and measurements. Again, this seems like something that, you would have to be an evil person if you had incorrect weights and measures, right? You would have to be able to defraud your neighbor or defraud people, defraud anybody, right? One of these things that we can't have this stuff on the cross. Okay, 95. Do
Hold on.
not. Okay, hold on. What do you got?
Brenda Lee wants to know, didn't Yehoshua celebrate Hanukkah? John 10.
No, so absolutely not. So if you look at John 10 and this, he was walking up to Shalom's porch, right? Everybody around him was celebrating Hanukkah. He never once celebrates Hanukkah. Hanukkah is a traditions of men. It is absolutely not ordained in scriptures. And so let's go over that real quick. I think that's actually good to go over. Or is it John 10?
Yeah. And
Alright.
Brother Glenn says Yehoshua went to the dedication of the temple.
It's
But
down
I don't
here.
think he was celebrating
John.
it.
Yeah, no, he was walking by it. So John 10, where are we at? Anyone have this?
So, like the first 10 verses are about like the pasture thing.
Okay, so where are we at? He shall prevail. It's by Shalom. I remember this one. There it is right there. Yeah, I even have it outlined right here. Okay, so here it is. Let's take a quick look at this, guys. Verse 21. Others said, these are the words of him that has a devil. Can a devil open the eyes of the blind? And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of Hanukkah, and it was winter. And Yahushua walked in the temple in Shalom's porch. Then came Yahudim round about him and said unto him, how long do you make us to doubt if you are Hamashiach? Tell us plainly. Okay, so this is the only thing that we have. This does not say anywhere that Yahushua was like keeping this feast, right? He would not keep this feast. But this is the problem with doctrines of men, is that everybody around him at that time, because they were with the Pharisees and Sadducees and all of these guys, they absolutely kept Hanukkah, which they also keep, what is that, Purim? They also keep Purim, right? And that's not a, that has nothing to do with anything in Torah. We're not told to keep this. And so if we are keeping things outside of our Creator's things, they are not him. And if we think that we're celebrating, things of that nature under him, or we think we're celebrating the birth of our Messiah when he was born in September, it's just wrong. So there's nowhere in scriptures anywhere that says we should be celebrating Hanukkah. Hanukkah is straight Judaism, it's straight Jewish, it's Talmudic, and it is not of the people of our Creator. Okay, let's continue on. Do not walk in the manners of the nation. And again, I guess this was a perfect verse right after that, right? Because if you are celebrating Hanukkah, or if you're celebrating Christmas or Easter, any of these things, you're walking in the manners of the nations. How do we know if we're walking in the manners of the nations or not?
If all the world does it.
Right, because, well, we would know because it's in the Torah, right? We are told how to walk and in what way to walk. And if we are walking outside of the Torah, if we're keeping outside feasts, then we're doing what the nations do. Okay, 96.
Keep the feast of first fruits, Shavuot, the Omer count.
Keep the Feast of Trumpets, Yom Teruah.
Keep the feast of Sukkot, Shemini Atzeret.
Okay, and our roof is getting really super loud, so it's just kind of like a drum roll. Hopefully you guys don't hear it as loud as we do. If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another.
Repay injury for injury.
Honor the Jubilee year.
Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay who you have trespassed against.
The Torah of being a Nazir.
Wear zizit on the four corners of your garments.
Tzitzits are totally in. If you guys haven't worn tzitzits, if you want the cool look, if you want to be on the real in crowd, tzitzits. It's all about the tzitzits. That's the cool kid club right there, friends. Okay. The laws of whoever touches a corpse.
Follow Yahuwah's laws of inheritance.
Tiora of keeping your oath to Yahuwah.
Did you say Tiora?
Torah.
Torah. I thought you said Tiora.
I didn't know what it said.
Yeah, Tiora. What is a Tiora? Isn't that some thing in a girl's hair?
That's
Yeah.
tiara.
Oh, a tiara. Okay.
Tiara.
Tiara? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. When in the land, the laws of a murder and victims' families.
Do not add or take away from the word.
Okay, let's stop right here. This is very, 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 very important. We go to this all the time, and this is why when we're not down on Brother Shaul, or Paul as people call him, well, we are kind of a little bit. Simply because, unfortunately, people aren't read thoroughly, and they will take the writings of Brother Shaul and they will doom themselves. In fact, the Christians have this thing called the Romans Road to Salvation. All Paul, completely Paul. And I try not to get down on Paul, but where we have two channels, one channel with like 28,000, 29,000, I don't even know how many people are on it. Every single person comes and they give us the philosophy of Brother Shaul, right? Everything. And if you guys want to believe Brother Shaul, we have to understand that, number one, women shouldn't be speaking. They shouldn't be teaching a whole bunch of stuff, right? And what I just said is not in Torah. So women speaking, there's nothing wrong with it. Women teaching, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. That is not in the Torah at all. And so when Brother Shaul, he gets confused because he was the most astute Pharisee or Sadducee of all time, right? He had this stuff memorized. And so when he speaks and when he writes, unfortunately, he gets a lot of his Talmudic views into some of his stuff. And so we have actually gone over and we created this thing called the Laws of Paul. And there's about 15 laws of Paul that do not apply to Torah and are not in scriptures anywhere. Are they good advice? Maybe, but they are not Torah. And if we have commandment 110 right here, which is do not take away from the word, do not add or take away, we have to be very cautious. And it says 53 times to guard the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator. 53 times it says that. If we are guarding the laws, statutes, and commands 53 times like that, then when something comes and they take the word away, take something away from the word, that's a red flag. That's something we have to battle, and that's something we are always battling here. Okay, guard your soul.
Learn to fear Yahuwah.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart.
Bind the laws upon your hands and in the frontlets between your eyes.
Write the laws on your doorposts.
Do not tempt Yahuwah.
Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies.
Remember Yahuwah.
Circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah.
Swear by his name.
Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim.
Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with.
Do not do what is right in your own eyes.
Do not hearken to the words of false prophets.
Kill the false prophets.
Do not listen and kill those that try to turn you away from Yahuwah, even if they are family members.
If a city has turned away from Yahuwah, burn the city and kill all inhabitants.
Do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead.
You shall not eat any abominable thing.
You shall give to a stranger of clean food that dies of itself, but you shall not eat of it.
Give tithe of your increase of seed year by year.
The laws of the end of the 7-year release.
Do not borrow from the nations.
Do not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from the poor.
Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year, all males shall appear before Yahuwah.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates.
Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
Any man or woman that has done wicked things in your gates, they shall be taken out and stoned.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
Hearken unto the prophet Yahuwah has chosen.
Prophetess of Deuteronomy.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
Good to have you guys back.
I was trying to fill it for, but you just went too fast.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yes, here it is. So, how to deal with a false witness among Torah keepers?
The first child is to get double portions.
The law of the wayward son.
If a man is hung to death, he shall not remain all night.
If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost and you find them, you must return them.
How does one lose their clothes?
Well, how did the guy that was with Messiah Yahushua, he lost his linen clothes. Remember that? They took his clothes.
They beat him up to his clothes.
They took his clothes. That's one way.
Like, what was that about?
I don't know.
It was just there. It was like it was the most like odd thing to put in the middle of that. It was like they just found a dude who ripped off his clothes
Yeah,
and beat him up.
that's one way. I don't know how you lose your clothes. That's one way.
So I feel like people didn't have that many garments back then. So how are you losing this garment?
I will tell you a little funny story when I used to work at Google. So I used to work at Google, and those who don't know who Google is, it's a big company, right? They're a giant company. I worked there for 4 years, and we have a thing in Google. We have security. Like, you do not step up from your computer without locking your computer. That is just part of IT security in places like that where security is very, very high. And so what you would do if you accidentally saw somebody that was that left their computer open is you would jump onto their computer, open up their email, and send off an email to the entire company that said, "I've lost my pants." So the entire company starts writing you back. You end up with like 40 or 50 different emails telling you that's how bad it is. You know, make sure you lock your computer and find your pants as well. So those are things. I lost my shirt and my pants several times because it took me a while to get up to security requirements, but at the same time, I inflicted a ton of damage on those who did not lock their computers. A lot of people lost their clothes at Google, and so that is what the story of locking your computers. So anyway,
Dredge Deplorable says Aaron lost his clothes to Eliezer.
what was that? What's the score? What's the story of that? You guys remember?
No, didn't he give him the clothes?
Didn't he die and like he took his tunic?
I don't know. The snake lost his clothes when they cut him up and made it for Adam and Eve.
I
Lost
assume
his-
he's dead after that too.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's continue on, Jim.
All right,
Where are we at?
where are we at? We are
152.
152. A woman should not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man wear what pertains to a woman. This is obvious, but if you flip on TV at any point, the entire world has broken this command. It is a girly man, manly girl world, honestly. It's really weird out there. Okay.
If you find a bird's nest with the mother and the babies or eggs, take the babies, but not the mother.
If you build a new house with a flat roof that is able to be lived on, you must put a railing around it.
Laws for the accuser and the accused in purity of relationships.
If a man has a relationship with an engaged woman, both should be killed. If an engaged...
woman is raped, she is not charged with a crime, but the man shall die.
Thank
If a
you.
man forces himself upon an undefiled woman, he must pay the father and take her to be his wife.
Do not be a prostitute.
Do not use dirty money.
You may eat from your neighbor's vineyard or grain, but you may not take it out of the field.
Law of divorce.
Newly married man should stay at home for 1 year to be with his wife.
Do not take a person's millstone for a pledge.
If a man is found kidnapping, he shall die.
If you lend to your brother, go on to his house to get your payment. He must bring it to you. Return his clothing before sunset if that was his pledge.
Do not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy.
Don't oppress any servant, period, honestly.
Don't oppress anybody, right? Why are we humans like to oppress other humans? It's the strangest odd thing. Okay, continue.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
Do not go back to the forgotten sheaf in the field. Leave it for the stranger, fatherless, and widow.
You cannot give a man more than 40 stripes for his judgment of his wickedness.
Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out grain.
If your brother dies and has no child, you shall take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother.
If a woman comes to defend a man and grabs their man private, you shall cut off her hand.
At the end of 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot.
All right. That is it, everybody. That is the coolest things that we could ever have, that we could ever read, that we could ever bind upon our hearts, minds, and souls, that will enhance our life, that will make us prosperous. They will enhance our life to prosperity. And if you're looking for cash as prosperity, that's not what I'm talking about, because the people of Yah usually are broke, and that is kind of a qualification. Not everybody, but in fact, that's not actually true, because a lot of people of Yah were really rich. Abram, Isaac, Jacob, they all had a ton of stuff. All right, Nicole, anything going on in the chat room?
Rich just said it was Numbers 20:26.
Numbers 20:26. Let's take a look at this real quick. Numbers 20:26. All right, let's take a look at this 20:26, just for the sake of coolness here. All right, Numbers 20:26. Oh yeah, there it is. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son, and bring them up to Hor, and strip Aaron of his garments, and put them upon Eleazar his son, and Aaron shall be gathered into his people, and shall die there. Okay, yeah, so you're right.
That's when he died.
Yeah, that's when he died, but he also lost his clothes. You guys were wondering when he lost his clothes.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not gonna give the clothes
You're
back
not going to
now.
be referring to the dead guy, right? You're not going to read.
Hey, the question was, how do you lose your clothes? That's one way. You answer the question. Dredge tutorial, well, got it. That's how to lose your clothes. Okay, or work at Google, and that happens. So here we go. It is what it is. Okay, so let us get into our reading today. And anything else in the chat room, Nicole? Miss Nicole?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, now let's get into this. One thing I do want to speak of real quickly is, where'd I go here? One thing is, Brother Glenn did some research. We did some research last week. And the King of Og. So what we need to understand when it comes to the Targums is this. Number one, there is Talmudic influence in the Targums. What does this mean? And what does it mean for us? Number one, it means that we need to be very, very astute in everything that we do and how we do this. Number two is we have to be very, very astute in the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator, because what we're looking for in the Targums is we're looking to see if there is anything that goes against the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator in any way, shape, or form. Now, what we're getting is we're getting a lot of extracurricular details that we have never ever heard. One of the so-called things that we heard was that Og was doing some rodeo on the top of a ship last week when we were discussing this. He was literally, I guess, secured to the top of the boat or something of the sort. We couldn't figure this out. We went looking. Brother Gillen went looking. Nicole, where did you find it at? What was it?
There's a website, and Brother Glenn also sent the same website that I was reading. I don't remember what website it was or anything, but we can go find it again. But it was just saying that it is in the Talmud, and that's the only place that it's mentioned.
Yep. And so when we look inside the Talmud, number one, that is Jewish mysticism. That is stuff that you stay away from with a 10-foot pole. And it is stuff that it violates Deuteronomy 4:2. Now, we have to make sure that we are not violating Deuteronomy 4:2. If we see any commandment in here says, for instance, like you can drink the blood on a full moon, right?
Is that a command from the Talmud?
No, I don't know what that is, but it probably is.
Wow, they really went for it.
The Talmud, I would tell you some commands, but they're not family friendly, that are in the Talmud that is very, very evil. Things that you wouldn't do as a normal person.
They're not even non-family friendly.
They're not even non-family friendly. And the Talmudic Jews are extremely odd. Very, very odd people, and they're definitely not in the word of our Creator. So when we're reading through the Targums, we actually have another document, and we will do another video at another time, where we have done the differences between Torah, like there are Torah that we know here, when we're reading out of Yahuwah's scriptures at the bottom, and the Targums. And so we're going to get a list of this, so we're very, very thorough on the differences between it, and then we want to identify things that, you know, it's you know, when you talk about this giant on the top of a ship, when our Creator was trying to get rid of the giants, it doesn't make any sense at all. Nothing like that makes any sense. And so those are the things we want to figure out if it's real or if it's fake. But the only way we'll be able to do this is to read through it, which we are doing. Eli, you ready?
Yeah, the Grand has a question.
What's the Grand got?
Does anyone have any recommendations on the Book of Gad?
The Book of Gad. I haven't read the Book of Gad.
I don't
want to read
it.
know. That's
Has the Hallowed Scriptures done it?
So I link that.
Yeah, I haven't read that at all.
It's in the Lost Books by Lumpkins.
Lumpkins? Don't we have that on a digital version?
Yeah.
we need to take that lost books and we need to put that up on our website so everybody has it. So we do actually have, it's a 2.5-inch thick book. It's called The Lost Books of the Bible, and it's really, I guess it's a really good book. And we do have it somewhere in a PDF, so I think we should get that on there. So I don't have any answers for the book of Gad, but I think it's something we can read. Have you read it, LeGrand? Is this something you have read, or are you just looking for recommendations? I don't know, personally. Has anyone out there in the chat room read this at all?
Nobody said anything.
Okay. All right. Well, as we are discussing this, let us get into this and let us begin. And this is chapter 15 of...
She hasn't read it
Okay.
either.
So she hasn't read it yet, so maybe we can all read it one time, or maybe we'll read it as a family. Or maybe we could do it on the Ecclesia, because we're going live this Wednesday, everybody. We're going to do a little section called the Ecclesia, and we're going to start doing live on Shabbat. And we're also going to do live on Wednesday afternoon, nights, probably as late as possible, so we can get as many of you guys in there as possible. And we're going to be reading some cool stuff, so maybe we'll get the book of Gad in there. Okay, let's begin. After these events, the word of Yahuwah came to Abram in a vision, saying, "Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield. Your reward is exceedingly great." And Abram said, "Adonai Yahuwah, what would you give me, seeing I go childless, and the heir of my house is Eliezer of Damascus?" And Abram said, "See, you have given me no seed, and see, one born in my house is my heir."
Hold on, I have a question.
Yep.
Is Nimrod
See,
the father
this,
of Eleazar?
He's from, it says of Damascus here, and not Babylon. Is
Yeah.
Damascus inside Babylon?
I don't think that's in Jerusalem. Isn't Damascus Jerusalem? Isn't it like up in the Israel area? I don't think it's Babylon, or what would have been.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. You said it was born in his own house, so
Okay, and when he said that last time, there may be a guy named Eleazar that went. I don't know if this is the guy, right? It doesn't make any sense. Some of the stuff we've read, and here's the thing, guys. If it gets too much to the point where none of this makes sense, or we're sitting here trying to discuss this stuff, then we're going to ditch the Targums, and we're just going to start reading other stuff, the other scriptures, and maybe just go the way we are. I don't want to get us to where we are confused. Last week it said that Eleazar was the grandson? The son of Nimrod. I don't necessarily know I believe any of that. So, like every week, this week may be the last week we read the Targums, and you guys can definitely read it on your own, but I don't want to cause confusion amongst anybody at all. So let's continue. 5. And he brought him outside and said, "Look now toward the Shemaim, and count the stars, if you are able to count them." And he said to him, "So are your seed." And he believed in Yahuwah, and he reckoned it to him for righteousness.
Does that mean the Torah is gone? That's something people bring up a lot.
Yeah. Well, that is the thing. That is a very valid discussion point, right? Abram didn't have Messiah. Yitzhak didn't have Messiah, Yahushua. None of these guys had Messiah, Yahushua. What did they have?
They had faith in Yah. They had obedience to his word.
They had the Torah, as good of a Torah. And when I say they had the Torah, they didn't have the exact written Torah that we have here. But we know that they walked with our Creator. They knew about clean foods. They knew about the ways they should keep this stuff. So there was a law. Whether or not it was written down or not, there is a law, and there always has been a law. And the law was created, that we learned from Targums, 2,000 years prior to creation. So the law is good for all generations. Okay, and now we're at the Targums at the top. After these words, when the kings had gathered together and had fallen before Abram, and 4 kings had been slain, and 9 hosts brought back, Abram reasoned in his heart and said, "Woe to me, because I have received the reward of my appointments in this world, and have no portion in the world to come. Or peradventure, the brethren and friends of those who had been slain will combine in legions and come against me. Or that at that time there was found with me the reward of a little righteousness, so that they fell before me. But the second time reward may not be found with me, and by me the name of the heavens may be profaned." Thereupon was the word 𝐤𝐄ℇ of Yahuwah with Abram in a vision, saying, "Fear not, for if these men should gather together in legions and come against thee, my word 𝐤𝐄ℇ will be thy shield. And also, if these fall before thee in this world, the reward of thy good work shall be kept, and be prepared before me in the world to come, and exceedingly." And Abram said, "Lord Elohim, great blessings hast thou given me, and great are they which it is before thee to give me. Nevertheless, what profit is to me when I pass from the world without children, and Eleazar, the manager," and then he goes, "Bar Pharnesheth, the son of substance, of my house, by whose hands signs were wrought for, or to me in Damascus, expects to be my heir. And Abram said, behold, to me thou hast not given a son. And behold, the manager of my house will be my heir. And behold, a word from before Yahuwah was to him, saying, he shall not be thine heir, but a son whom thou wilt beget shall be thy heir. And he brought him forth without and said, look up now to the heavens and number the stars, if thou art able to number them. And he said, so will be thy sons. And he believed in Yahuwah and had faith in the Memra, word of Yahuwah. And he reckoned it to him for righteousness, because he parlayed not before him with words. And he said, okay, so let's continue on. So this is what we get out of Targums. We got a little bit more than just, we got the conflict that Abram had.
It makes sense why Yahoo would say, I'm your shield, don't worry.
Right.
I'll protect you, right?
Right. And that's what I like about the Targums is we get a little bit more. We get the character issues that Abram had. He was worried. He thought these people were going to come ride him over. It was going to be over. And our Creator gave him peace at that. Okay, let's continue on. Are we at 6?
Yep.
And he believed in Yahuwah, and he reckoned it to him for righteousness. And he said to him, I am Yahuwah, who brought you out of Kasdeim, to give you this land to inherit it. And he said, Adonai Yahuwah, whereby do I know that I possess it? And he said to him, bring me a 3-year-old heifer, and a 3-year-old female goat, and a 3-year-old ram, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took all these to him, and cut them in the middle, and placed each half opposite the other, but he did not cut the birds. And the birds of prey came down on the carcasses, and Abram drove them away. And it came to be when the sun was going down, and a deep sleep fell upon Abram, that see, a frightening great darkness fell upon him. And he said to Abram, know for certain that your seed are to be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. But the nation whom they serve I am going to judge, and afterward let them come out with great possessions. Do we need to go yet?
I was going to have you go to 16.
Okay. Now as for you, you are to go to your fathers in peace. You are to be buried at a good old age. Then in the 4th generation they shall return here, for the wickedness of the Amorites is not yet complete. All right. Here we go. Under the Targums at the top. And he said to him, I am Yahuwah, who brought thee out of the fiery furnace of the Kasdai, to give thee this land to inherit. And he said, Lord Elohim, by what may I know that I shall be the heir of it? And he said, bring me oblations, and offer before me an heifer of 3 years, and a goat of 3 years, a ram of 3 years, and a dove, and the young of a pigeon. And he brought all these before him, and he divided them in the midst, and set in order every division over against its fellow. But the fowl he divided not. And there came down idolatrous peoples, which are like to unclean birds, to steal away the sacrifices of Israel. But the righteousness of Abram was a shield over them. And when the sun was nearing to set, a deep sleep was thrown upon Abram, and behold, 4 kingdoms arose to enslave his children. Okay, hold on. I'm going to reread that thing, but I want to talk about that first part above there.
Where we get like people coming down and like.
Yeah, what are we talking about here?
This is like where the birds.
The birds
come
came down
and try and get the carcasses. Like it sounds like people trying to go steal the meat, like that was sacrificed to Yah, and he like drove them away.
So what are we talking about here? And they came down idolatrous people, which are like to unclean birds, to steal away the sacrifices of Israel. But the righteousness of Abram was a shield over them. I mean, if you cut any kind of animals whatsoever, the vultures are going to come and they're going to try to eat that carcass. I don't have no idea what you're talking about here.
Maybe this is like for like future tense or something, like how Abraham's promise protects the children of Israel from like people trying to steal them away. I don't know if that's what Targum's trying to say.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. And when the sun was nearing to set, a deep sleep was thrown upon Abram, and behold, 4 kingdoms arose to enslave his children.
Stop for just a second. The
Okay.
Grand wants to know if the sleep of Abraham was like the sleep of Adam and Hava was birthed.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that was a deep sleep. I mean, that was the same kind of sleep that you would be on an operating table, I believe, that you would not feel them cutting into you. I don't know. I don't know if it's just an awesome sleep or if it's that kind of sleep. All right. And when the sun was nearing, a deep sleep was thrown over Abram, and behold, 4 kingdoms arose to enslave his children. Terror, which is Babel, darkness, which is Madai, greatness, which is Javan, decline, which is Pharis, which is to fall and to have no uplifting, and from whence it is to be that the children of Israel will come up. And he said to Abram, knowing that thou must know that thy son shall dwell in the land not their own, because thou hast not believed. And they will subjugate and afflict them 400 years, and also that the people whom they shall serve I will judge with 250 plagues, and afterwards they shall go forth into liberty with great riches. Okay, I got to go back up to this whole thing. I said that Abraham, because I didn't get that part right here. What do you guys get of this? And he said to Abram, knowing thou must know that thy son shall dwell in a land not their own, because thou hast not believed. And is he talking about the kids? He's talking about the kids, not him, right?
I
think
married
so.
him because he didn't think he had kids. Like, I'm gonna punish kids for you.
It says, thou shalt not believe, and they will be subjugate and afflict them for 400. I think he's talking about the kids.
I think he's talking
Yeah,
about,
so they're going to be in Mitzrayim for 400 years, but I think that Abram did not believe, like they said about Eleazar with the heir.
I think he did believe. He counted it as righteousness.
No, I think this is talking about like the people. His people are not going to believe. Like his kids are not going to believe.
Yeah, I think that is what it is, and because they will be subjugate and afflict them. Or okay, actually, no, where to say that? That thy son shall dwell in the land because thou hast not believed. I think they did not believe. Right? That I think is what it is. Okay, let's continue on. I don't know. I will judge with 250 plagues. Whoa, wait a second. 250
Yeah.
plagues? What are we talking about here? We don't know of any 250
Were there
plagues.
more than 10 plagues?
Yeah, I don't know of any 200. We don't know of any.
I
of
don't
this.
think Egypt even left 250 man. They're already dead at 10 there.
Yeah, but what are we talking about here? See, this doesn't make sense either. I will judge with 250 plagues, and afterwards they shall go forth into liberty with great riches.
He's talking about leaving Egypt.
Yeah, I know that. I get that part.
We're
But what
trying to
about
figure
the
out why,
plagues?
where is 250 plagues? We've never.
That's
heard
a
of.
lot of plagues. I mean, that's
I mean, there no Egypt wouldn't
there'd be
even
nothing left. I don't know what
Maybe
they.
there was plagues before Moses got there. Something there's stuff happening. I was like messing with him before Moses got there. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe there were other things that weren't as brutal as the plagues. I don't know.
Maybe we'll understand when we get to the Exodus and the Targums.
Is it?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay, if we make it that far.
I'm going to have
If-
to read a lot further.
Yeah. Okay. Let's continue on. And thou shalt be gathered to thy fathers, thy soul shall rest in peace, and thou shalt be buried in a good old age. And in the fourth generation of thy sons, they will return hither to inherit, because the guilt of the Amorah is not yet complete. And when the sun had set, there was darkness. And behold, Abram saw Gehenna ascending, smoke and flaming coals and burning flakes of fire, wherewith the wicked are to be judged. And behold, he passed between those divinations. Okay, do we see anything there like that?
You went to.
Oh, did I go too far?
Yeah, but let's read Jerusalem and then
Okay.
we can go back to you.
Thank you, Ida. Jerusalem. And after these words, when all the kings of the lands and the sultans of the provinces had gathered together and had made war against Abram the just, and had fallen before him and had slain of them 4 kings and had brought back 9 hosts, did Abram the just reason in his heart and say, woe now to me, because I have received the reward ordained in the present world, or have no portion in the world to come. Or peradventure, the brethren and kindred of the slain who have fallen before me, who are in their cities and provinces, will combine in great legions and come against me. Or peradventure, there were in my hand a few commandments in the former times, so that they fell before me when they had risen up against me. Or it may be that righteousness was found in me at the former times, that they fell before me. But at the second time it may not be found, and the heavenly name will be profaned in me. Then was the word of prophecy from Yahuwah unto Abram, the righteous saint. Fear not, Abraham, though they should gather together and come against thee with many legions, my word shall be thy reward and thy shield in this world, and a protector over thee all the days of the world to come. And though I deliver up thy adversaries before thee in this world, the reward of thy good works is prepared for thee also before me in the world to come. And Abram said, before thee I supplicate mercy, O Yahuwah Elohim. Manifold blessings thou hast given me, and many hast thou thee still to give. Nevertheless, what profit have I who go from the world childless, and Eleazar, the son of my house, by whose hands signs were wrought for me in Damascus, expecteth in himself to be my heir? And he said to him, I am Yahuwah, who brought thee out of the fiery furnace from Ur of the Kasdai. And a turtle and a young pigeon.
So it's like basically skipping around now.
Yeah, what's the saying with that? An eternally young creature.
It's basically different things that it says when it's like doing
Right.
the offerings.
Gotcha. Okay. And he brought before him all these and divided them into divisions and set one part over against his fellow. But the fowl he divided not. And when the birds descended, they came not nigh the divisions. Those birds are unclean fowl, and those unclean fowl are the kingdoms of the earth, which are worshippers of idols, and which counsel evil counsels against the sons of Israel. But the integrity of the righteous Abram hindered them. And when the sun was going to set, a sleep profound and sweet fell upon Abram. Okay, so maybe that is an awesome sleep. I don't know. Maybe that's the good sleep. And behold, Abram saw 4 kingdoms which should arise to being his sons and in subjection and terror. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's terror and greatness.
And the greatness and of the darkness. Wow, they really fouled this up.
Yeah.
And
Fell upon them. Terror, that is Babel. Darkness, that is Media. Greatness, that is Greece. Fell, that is Edom, Rome. That 4th kingdom which is to fall and never to rise again forever and ever. And behold, the sun went to set, and there was darkness, and Abraham beheld till the seats were arrayed, and the thrones set forth. And lo, Gehenna, which was prepared for the wicked in the world to come, enveloped in burning flakes and flames of fire, into which the wicked had fallen, when in their lives they rebelled against the law, while the just who had kept it had been delivered from affliction. And all were seen by Abram while he passed between those divisions.
So
okay.
So it's Edom, Rome.
Edom, Rome. I don't know. I don't know. Everybody has an exact idea of what these people and what they are. Basically, the entire world is non-Torah keepers. Whatever they are, whatever they've been called, they just don't. They're not the people of Yisrael. Okay. Now we're at 17 at the bottom one here on the Yah's scriptures. And it came to be when the sun went down and it was dark, that see a smoking oven and a burning torch passing between those pieces. Okay, that's all we got. Mm-hmm. He didn't talk about anything about Gehenna,
Nope.
about the flames of the stuff or anything, like the flakes of fire or anything like that. So why do you suppose that we only got part of the story in the scriptures that we have? Why didn't we get this little part right here? They just talked about this thing.
Maybe it wasn't important.
Maybe it was important. I don't know. Okay. All right. So that was all that was. And that other verse gave us a ton of other stuff on that. Okay. 18. On the same day, Yahuwah made a covenant with Abram, saying, I have given this land to your seed, from the river of Mitzrayim to the great river, the river Pereth, with the Kenite, and the Kezanite, and the Kadmonite, and the Kittite, and the Perizzite, and the Rephaim, and the Amorite, and the Canaanite, and the Girgashite, and the Jebusite. Okay, so that was the end of the Targums, huh?
Not
No.
Targum.
Oh, okay.
No
Okay,
more Targums.
so it's real small. Okay. In that day, Yahuwah ordained a covenant with Abram, that he would not judge therein his sons, but would deliver them from the kingdom, saying, To thy sons will I give this land, from Nilos of Mirzim unto the great river, the river Phereth, the Shalmiah, and the Kenazah, and the Kadmonah, and the Hittite, and the Pharisee, and the Gibari, and the Emory, and the Kenani, and the Girgashi, and the Jebusi. Okay.
Jerusalem. And
Yeah.
all the sons of the east.
Oh, yeah, and then all the sons of the east in the Jerusalem Post. All right, so I guess that is that. Do we have any kind of discussion on this?
Can you pull up your Telegram?
Pull up my Telegram? Maybe.
Glenn sent a thing about Hanukkah on Telegram because it was too big for the chat.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to go in a
okay.
whole bunch of stuff here.
So
Can you paste it? Or you can't paste it?
it's too big, but let's see.
Here, I can read it. Maybe if I
know if
I
you
don't know
can
if I don't know if I can see
I can
this
read it.
phone.
Small.
I can read it.
All right, so let me see. Couldn't post this in chat too large. Just to clarify, the passage about Yahushua. This is about Hanukkah. The temple is about discussion with the religious leaders in Jerusalem, seen in chapter 9, not to celebrate Hanukkah. Yahushua lays out 3 separate analogies about his ministry using the concept of sheep and shepherds. In those statements, Yahushua explains why some people refuse to accept him, declares himself the only means of salvation, and again predicts his sacrificial death. Later, Yahushua is cornered by a mob in the temple grounds. They once again try to stone him as he repeats his divine claims, but he escapes in some way. After that, Yahushua leaves the area and returns to the region where John the Baptist had once preached. Nothing in the text about the Messiah celebrating Hanukkah. It is always helpful to at least read the whole chapter. Remember, the scripture is a puzzle. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, there's no thing. The thing about the Hebrews is they ended up with all sorts of the traditions and doctrines and stuff that are outside of the scriptures, which is crazy because they've always had the word of Yahweh with them, and they knew not to add and take away to the Torah, but they still did that. All right, so that is good. Let us go to the next chapter. Let's do this. What's the next? How many verses are in the next one?
15.
15. All right, so let's continue on and see what we can get. To whoever's still left out there, much love to you guys. All right, here we go. And Sarai, Abraham's wife, had borne him no child, and she had a Mitzrite female servant whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said to Abram, "See, Yahuwah has kept me from bearing children. Please, go into my female servant. It might be that I am built up by her." And Abram listened to the voice of Sarai. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her female servant, the Mitzrite, and gave her to her husband, Abram, to be his wife, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan. And he went into Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said to Abram, "My wrong be upon you. I gave my female servant into your bosom, and when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. Let Yahuwah judge between you and me." Okay, now we're up at the Targums. Let's see what we get out of this one. But Sarah, the wife of Abram, had not borne to him, but he had a handmaid, a Mizraitha, and her name was Hagar, a daughter of Pharaoh, whom she gave to him as a handmaid at the time that he received her, being struck by the word from before Yahuwah. And Sarah said to Abram, "Behold, now Yahuwah hath restrained me from bearing. Go to my handmaid and set her free. Perhaps I may be builded by her." And Abram hearkened to the word of Sarah. And Sarah, the wife of Abram, took Hagar the Mitzrith, handmaid, when Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and set her free, and gave her to Abram, her husband to wife. And she went unto Hagar, and she conceived. And she saw that she had conceived, and the honor of her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarah said to Abram, "All my affliction is from thee, being secure that thou wouldest do me justice. I left the land and the house of my father, and came up with thee to a foreign land. And as for as much as I was not able to become a mother, I set free my handmaid, and gave her to lie in thy bosom. And she seeth that she had conceived, and mine honor is despised before her. But now is my affliction manifest before Yahuwah, who will spread peace between me and thee, and the land shall be replenished from us. Nor shall we need the help of the progeny of Hagar, the daughter of Pharaoh, Bar Nimrod, who threw thee into the furnace of fire." Okay. It just said
Pharaoh's Nimrod.
Pharaoh Bar Nimrod, the son of Pharaoh, right?
Yeah, we knew something about the Pharaoh. It talked about Joshua that Pharaoh gave Hagar to Abraham.
Yeah, right.
And it appears as that she's the daughter of Pharaoh.
She was the daughter of Pharaoh?
I know she was like I don't know if she was a daughter, but I think
Yeah.
He said she was the daughter of Pharaoh.
I know. And
Right, we discussed this before. Why would a king give his daughter away to somebody who wasn't part of that
because he's super powerful.
superpower? He saw what it was there.
The Grand said it sounded like Yah told Sarah to give Abraham to Hagar.
I think because Abraham obviously told Sarah all his visions, right? He's not going to keep this up. He's like, look, we're going to be a great nation. He's going to fulfill his promise. And she probably got to the point where she's like, I'm too old to have this kid. There's got to be another way. Maybe I'm cursed. Maybe I'm not blessed. That's probably the thought she had. So she gave Hagar. She's like, it'll happen. And then I guess she regretted it later when she realized that she could probably have a kid. She just has to have the faith. Because
Anytime you see your spouse in the arms of another person, your heart is going to be destroyed. You are not going to be the same person. It doesn't matter if multiple marriages are okay. It doesn't matter about any of this. It matters that the loyalty and the bond and the closeness and everything that you had is now in the arms of somebody else, and it has totally violated you. She probably did not want to do this. That was probably her very last thing. The last thing she ever wanted to do was to have her husband in the arms of another woman. And when this happened, this woman who was her servant, all of a sudden she would have become lesser in her eyes, right? Hagar would have seen that now her husband is now there bearing children with her. And it would have been right. I don't see this as being a problem with Sarai or a problem with anything. It was just one of these things they went through.
And we see something a lot that Sarah has a lot of faith moments. She has a lot of faith struggling moments. Like we see it in Jasher. We see it in throughout here where the promises come and she laughs at Yah's words and things like that, she struggles with faith. So this was another faith struggling moment where she didn't have the faith to rely on Yah, so she gave Hagar.
Yeah, and this is I don't know. I mean, these stories are intense. They're things that you are glad did not happen to you, I guess, is the thing. And you did not have to make these decisions. You did not have to figure this stuff out. It would be, I can't even imagine it. I honestly have no idea how that would even be. I don't even know how the situation went or what happened. I mean, the night afterwards, they come out of the tent. You're never going to look at your husband the same, right? You're never going to look at the wife the same. You're never going to look at any of the stuff the same. It's never, ever going to be the same. Even if it is legally okay in the eyes of Yahuwah, there's something about the bond of a male and female that when you break that, it's going to hurt. It's going to be really bad. So,
I want to read the Jerusalem.
Okay, Jerusalem Post. And Sarai said, "My judgment and my affliction are delivered into thine hand. I left the house of my birth and the house of my father, and came with thee in the faith of the heavens. I have gone with thee before kings, before Pharaoh, king of Mitzrayim, and before Amalek, king of the Philistine. And I have said of thee, he is my brother, so that they might not kill thee. And when I saw that I was not made fruitful, I took Hagar, the Mitzrayim, my handmaid, and gave her to thee to wife, and said, she shall bring forth, and I will bring up whom she may bear, that I may be builded, if be it only from her. But now seeing that she hath conceived, my honor is contemned and despised in her sight. Now may Yahuwah appear and judge between me and thee, and fulfill mercies upon me and thee, and spread his peace between me and thee, and replenish the world from me and from thee, that we may not need the son of Hagar, the Mitzrayim, the handmaid, who is of the children of the people who cast thee into the burning furnace of the Kasdean." Okay, very, very interesting. This is, now you get to see a little bit more of Sarai's issue, right? You get to see a little bit more of her problems, right? And she is, she is I don't know if to say she's just a wonderful woman, or a woman that really, really cares about the wishes of Yah, that she would offer her husband to another woman. It's just, it's interesting to see this. Okay, am I at top, Eli, or bottom?
Bottom.
Okay, verse 6. And Abram said to Sarai, "See, your female servant is in your hand. Do to her what is good in your eyes." And Sarai treated her harshly, and she fled from her presence. And the messenger of Yahuwah found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, by the spring on the way to Shur. And he said, "Hagar, Sarai's female servant, where have you come from, and where are you going?" And she said, "I am fleeing from the presence of Sarai, my mistress." And the messenger of Yahuwah said to her, "Return to your mistress, and humble yourself under her hand." And the messenger of Yahuwah said to her, "I am going to increase your seed greatly, too numerous to be counted." And the messenger of Yahuwah said to her, "See, you are conceiving and bearing a son, and shall call his name Yishmael, because Yahuwah has heard your affliction. And he is to be a wild man, his hand against everyone, and everyone's hand against him, and dwell against all his brothers." And she called the name of Yahuwah. She called the name of Yahuwah, who spoke to her, "You are the El who sees." For she said, "Even here have I seen after him who sees me." That is why the well was called Ber La Roy. See, it is between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bore Abram a son. And Abram called the name of his son, whom Hagar bore, Yishmael. And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore Yishmael to Abraham. Okay, let's finish up in the Targums right here. And Abram said to Sarah, "Behold, thy handmaid is under thy authority. Do to her what is right in thine eyes." And Sarah afflicted her, and she escaped from before her. And the angel of Yahuwah found her at the fountain of waters in the desert, at the fountain of waters, which is the way to Kagra. Okay, and so this is the Jerusalem side. And the Jerusalem actually says it's only, instead of Kagra, it's Chaletza. Okay, let's continue on. And he said, "Hagar, handmaid of Sarah, whence comest thou, and whither dost thou go?" And she said, "From before Sarah, my mistress, I have escaped." And the angel of Yahuwah said to her, "Return to thy mistress, and be subject unto her hand." And the angel of Yahuwah said to her, "Multiplying I will multiply thy sons, and they shall not be numbered for multitude, and they shall not be numbered for multitude." And the angel of Yahuwah said to her, "Behold, thou art with child, and thou wilt bear a son, and thou shalt call his name Ishmael, because thy affliction is revealed before Yahuwah. And he shall be like the wild donkeys among men. His hand shall take the vengeance of his adversaries, and the hands of his adversaries be put forth to him evil. and in the presence of all his brethren shall he be commingled. And then it says 2 words I can't even see. Yetharbeb and Erzabibzez. That's terrible. And shall dwell. And she gave thanks before Yahuwah, whose word spake to her, and thus said, Thou art he who livest and art eternal, who seest but art not seen. For she said, For behold, here is revealed the glory of the Shekinah of Yahuwah after a vision. Okay, and this is the Jerusalem Post on Jerusalem side. I don't know why I call it Jerusalem Post. Why do you even say
know.
that?
Every
Isn't
time
that a
we-
store or something?
It's like a newsletter.
It's a newsletter or
It's a
something?
newspaper.
I don't even know. I don't even know why I
We
say it.
laugh every time you say
Kind of
it.
like the Washington Post.
Washington Post. I don't know why I say Jerusalem Post. Coming from the Jerusalem Post. Okay.
Chuckle.
Yeah. And Hagar gave thanks and prayed in the name of the word of Yahuwah, who had been manifested to her, saying, Blessed be thou, Eloah, the living one of all ages, who hast looked upon my affliction. For she said, Behold, thou art manifested also unto me, even as thou wast manifested to Sarah, my mistress. Wherefore she called the whale at which the living and eternal one was revealed. And behold, it is a situate between Rechem and Chalesta. And Hagar bare Abram a son. And Abram called the name of his son, whom Hagar bare, Ishmael. And Abram was the son of 86 years when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram. Wow, 86 years old. 86 years old. You know, we had that old timer that just came stumbling over here, 75 years old, and he's at the end, and these guys are having kids at 86 years old. How crazy is that, right? Yep. All right. Does anyone else have anything out there? Does anyone in the chat room have anything out there?
The Grand said Lamech is the first recorded polygamist.
Lamech?
The guy who had two wives who did the clap.
That could be. Absolutely, yeah, that could be. Do we know of anyone else?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think
But is
that.
it called polygamy if it's not? I mean, that's the name that we have made for it. But I mean, our Creator has not said not to do it. Although I would recommend it's probably a very, 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 very bad idea to even think of doing that. And it's probably not going to work out. And so I think this was for years and years and years and years and years ago when there weren't a lot of families and there weren't a lot of people and a little tiny family could have got wiped out very easily. The only way to ensure that your safety would be to have as many kids, as much stuff as possible. And that would be the way to do it.
All right, Eric, resting.
Okay, so with that, I think everybody out in the chat room, we love you guys very, very, very much. We thank you guys very, very, very much for hanging out with us. We are going to read the Aaronic blessing as we hang out with all of you. Jaden, will you read this with authority, please?
All right. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons, saying, This is how you barak the children of Yisrael. Say to them, Yahuwah barak you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. Yahuwah lift up his face upon you and give you peace. Thus they shall put my name on the children of Yisrael, and I myself shall barak them.
Okay. All right. Everybody, we love you guys, and thank you guys for hanging out with us. We have, what's the tops? 12, 13 people?
I think 13 was the
That's as beautiful and as perfect as we can possibly get. This is a very beautiful, perfect table. We are very, very happy that you guys all hanging out with us, and we love you guys, and thank you guys. Shabbat Shalom to everybody out there. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope you guys get some more rest, and we love you. Okay.
All right.
Let's kick it off. Goodbye, everyone. Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe.
The dogs are, they get wild
Yep.
this time.
Prophesy, oh son of man, must speak to the wind. So I prophesy, as you command me. This is what I will say. Come, breath of Yah, come from the four winds.
Much love, everybody. We love you all. Hugs and love to every one of you guys. Shabbat shalom.
All right,
Shabbat shalom.